Hey everyone, today I want to show you how you can create period-over-period comparisons quite easily in Lightdash using parameters. So here's an example dashboard that we have where we want to allow users to select from different date ranges. So an example of this is selecting yesterday, the last 7 days, or the last 30 days. And then based on the selected date ranges, showing what the value was for the current period. So for example, the last 7 days, the previous period, so the 7 days prior to that, and then the last 7 days, but a year ago. So this is defined using parameters and an additional dimension in Lightdash. So let me just show you how you can do that in your YAML files. Okay, so if we take a look here, I'm inside my DBT project. I'm inside my orders model. And here I've defined, I have my orders model name here. And under the meta tag, I've defined parameters, which are specific to this model. As a reminder, you can also define parameters at the project level within the Lightdash config YAML. But for this example, I'm just going to define them within the orders model directly. So I've defined a date range parameter. I've given it a label as well as a description and 3 options. So yesterday, last 7 days, last 30 days, and the default is the last 7 days. Then I have a number of normal dimensions that are defined in my SQL file, but I've also defined an additional dimension, which is going to reference my parameter. So I have the parameter, the dimension order date, and underneath order date, I've defined an additional dimension called order date period. So this order date period essentially buckets every single value of order date into 4 different groups, either current period, previous year, or out of range. So if we look at an example of yesterday, I am checking to see if I have selected what value I've selected from my date range parameter. So if yesterday equals yesterday, then we know that we need to apply this first line. I will then check or compare the order date field to the current date minus 1 day, which is yesterday. So if the order date field equals yesterday, then I'm going to bucket it into the period current period or the group current period. Then I have slightly different logic for the previous period. In this case, I would minus 2 days because I want the day before yesterday. And then for previous year, I would get I would subtract 1 year from this date and then minus 1 day as well to get the yesterday a year ago. And then this is dynamic for each value that you selected, but make sure that you specify logic for every single value in your parameter that you define. So we had 3 values, yesterday, last 7 days, and last 30 days, and we have defined what should happen for every single one of these values. We also have a catch-all, and this is quite useful to be able to filter out values that are not relevant for your example. So if we go back to Lightdash, here we are, we can start creating a new chart. So I'm going to start from tables. I'm going to select the orders model, and remember our additional dimension was called order date period. So now I can select a metric that I'm interested in. Let's say I'm interested in the order count. I can run this, and now the order count will be split out by my additional dimension order date period. As you can see, we have 4 values, which is what we defined in our YAML file. We don't want the out of range value because that is not information that we need. So for our chart, we're going to filter this out. So I'm going to click here and remove the out of range value. Okay, so now I unfortunately included it. So like, let's say is not out of range. Great. Okay, there we go. So now we only have these three values, and we have a very basic bar chart comparing the current period to the previous period and the period in the previous year. As a reminder, the period is determined by whatever has been selected by the date range parameter. So I can then change these, and this will dynamically change what is bucketed in each of these groups. So I can save this chart and add it to a dashboard. I'm going to go back to my original dashboard. And here you can see that I have a number of different charts. You can take a look at these examples and see how they've been implemented. But if you change this date range parameter here, all of these charts are going to update what the current period is, what the previous period is, and what the previous year is, depending on what you've selected here. I hope this helps implementing period over period comparisons in Lightdash. Please let us know if you have any questions.